What's the deal, people? It's your boy Big Star of Raw Sports. Thank y'all for joining me for another week, season 2 of Legends Week. It's definitely gonna be a classic week this week, man. Got some, some good individuals, man. Some hoop legends lined up, man. It's definitely gonna be a treat. So we starting off tonight. Let me get my guy on. The legend.
What's up?
Hey, I'm gonna need you to.
Which one? You just paint it this way?
There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Now I can see you clear.
No problem.
All right. Got you on, man. It's a pleasure, man. Just want to, real quick, I got a lot I want to talk about. I definitely want to, give you the platform and the freedom to just express yourself to the people, man. But I just want to say thank you in advance. I just want to get that out the way. Thank you in advance, man, for your time. Thank you for everything that you gave to the game all your years, playing in high school, college, and pro. Thank you for all the wisdom and the game that you've given to younger individuals, like through your coaching experiences and mentoring. And I just want to let you know, through this Raw Sports Legends Week series, two main goals that I have, man. I just want to educate the younger generation of ballers so that they don't, through not knowing, cross paths with you in your coaching, experiences now or at AU tournaments or whatever, and just breeze by and not know that they need to be paying homage or just acknowledging a legend. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to, educate the younger generation. And then also guys in their 40s and up, 30s and all who were there, man, who saw you doing your thing at Gratz. I just don't want people to forget, man. That's all. So
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's an honor, to be even thought of as a legend. And there's no need for thanks. Like, we spoke early on. I reached out to you about the things you was doing, and it's something great, something that needs to be done. And, I try to support everybody who's doing something positive, and especially involving these youth. So, but, I would never think of myself as a legend at all. But it's no thank you actually for having me on. It's a tough time for everybody. So this is a great platform for guys like yourself and other guys to display their talents and give people in the area something to talk about, something to think about.
no doubt. Right before we get into it, I don't want to tarry too much longer. Just want to mention one thing regarding housekeeping. We may go over, we may touch on like an hour. We may go over an hour. So if that's the case, it'll on my end, it'll give me like a little 2-minute countdown when the first hour is about to end. So I'll just let you know. I'll just end this one and then start a brand new one just so we can kind of wrap up.
Yeah, no problem. That's no problem.
All right. So just want to get right into it, man. We start. The format is 10 random questions. We get into a conversation, and then we open up for some Q&A for the people just to kind of pick your brain and ask some questions to the legend. Is that all right?
Okay, perfect.
All right. So 10 random questions real quick. So growing up in the 80s, what was your favorite cartoon?
Ooh, cartoon?
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yes, Tom and Jerry.
All right. If you could take a 5, like an all-star 5 from the Philly area suburbs from your era, all right, from your senior year, junior year, and go up against a 2025 from the area, who would you bring? If we can go, if I had the DeLorean.
Not including myself?
No, if you want to include, including yourself. So including yourself and then 4 other people. If we can go back to the future and bring 4 guys up to now, in 17, 18.
I'm definitely going to obviously go with my guys. I'm going to go with Rashid. I'm going to go with myself. I'm going to go with my guards, Terrell and Red Smith. I might throw a FLC player on there, though. You know what I mean? I love Meatball. I think he was one of the so underrated power forwards that existed. So I think I would go with them. I think we can dominate. I don't think nobody would be able to handle us right there.
No doubt. Another 80s question. Everybody was in the WWF wrestling back then. Who was one of your favorites back in the WWF days?
Oh, the Junkyard Dog.
JYD.
Yes, Junkyard Dog. Like, You know how he came and the chain he used to wear. Yeah, that was. I used to love watching that on Saturday mornings too. The Junkyard Dog, because you know he was African American. He was very few African American wrestlers,
Exactly.
so he's the one that kind of caught my eye and you know, wanted to be like in a sense.
No doubt. All right. Your favorite Rocky, if you have one. One or two against Apollo. Three versus Clubberland, you know, Mr. T. Four versus the Russian, Drago. Or five with Tommy Gunn.
I think obviously the one against Mr. T, because the 18 was my favorite show. You know, I used to love when Hannibal Smith would say, "I love it when a good plan comes together."
Yes.
So definitely with you know, with against crazy whatchamacallit. But Mr. T. But and the funny
Clubber
part
Lang,
is
he was
me and my
Clubber
son,
Lang in that.
yeah, he was covered. That's why I was trying to think of the name. But Mr. T and you know, Pity the Fool. But
Yes.
I just was down on the steps too this 3 days ago too. So
No
that's funny
doubt.
you asked that
Hey,
question.
one of my favorite lines from Mr. T on the 18. I love, you know, he had a phobia of getting on airplanes. He was like,
Right.
I ain't getting no plane, Hannibal. And then all of a sudden you see him knocked out the next scene on the plane.
Right, right. Because and it's so funny. I do all the flights I done took. I hate flying too. I
No
hate
doubt.
flying. I hate it.
You're one of your favorite NBA players growing up that you were watching in your, you know, in your elementary, middle school, high school days when you watched the
Ja-
league play.
Easy, James Worthy.
Oh, no doubt. No
James
doubt.
Worthy. I think he was one of the another not as talked about as he should be talked about player. He was one of the, you know, the top forwards in the league. I tried to model myself after him actually, but James Worthy was one of my favorite all-time players.
What's the most points you ever scored in the game at any level? You know, younger days, high school,
Mm.
college, pro.
You know what? It's so funny you asked that. Like I never been into, you know, like scoring points, but so I think probably the most like 42,
Okay.
42. I think it was a summer league game. I just was having a good week of working out
Yeah.
down the Salvation Army and everything was just clicking. So about 40,
No doubt.
42 points. Yeah.
No doubt. So going back to your high school days, you got your Sony Walkman on. You know, who are you listening to, man?
The Sony Walkman, that's funny. Wow, that's crazy because I remember you said they had your CD case and make sure you had the batteries and stuff like
That's
that.
right. That's right.
Wow. That's a good one because it was so random. You know what I mean? Like I just would listen to everything because you know back then it ain't like we had a plethora of Philly artists to say, "Oh, I'm listening to all Philly."
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you know, I probably was some Big Daddy Kane, some R&B music or something like that,
No doubt.
most
No doubt.
likely.
Speaking of R&B, this is not one of my questions, but Luther or um, 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 Freddie Jackson. Luther or Freddie Jackson.
That's funny. I love them both, but Luther, hands down. That's easy one. That's
Hands
easy
down.
one. Hands down, easy.
No doubt.
Luther.
Um, how do you order your cheesesteaks?
Cheesesteaks. Okay. I don't eat the chicken cheesesteak nowadays. I don't.
Got you.
You know, I
Yep.
don't eat the. So I like it chopped very fine with sweet peppers, onions, mayo, salt, pepper, ketchup,
No doubt.
provolone cheese.
Provolone, not American
Yeah.
provolone.
Not American provolone. Yep.
Got you.
Yep.
I think you already answered this question. I just want to know, in your perspective, real quick, how do you think you're not the not on the '93 Gratz team when y'all won the national championship? What year were you? A junior, senior,
Junior.
junior,
Junior.
junior?
Junior. Hmm.
That '93 team, how would they fare in today's public league, Catholic league, national? How do you think they would fare? You think they still untouchable?
Yeah. I think very much untouchable, and I think what really ultimately will always make the difference is Rashid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Rashid was he was a pro really at that time.
Uh-huh.
You know, it just wasn't a norm for high school kids to go to the NBA right away. So, but I think always to make the difference is Rashid because he was the X factor with defensively, the dominating defensively and offensively. In high school, you never really got the chance to see how great he was offensively, but I think Rashid would just always make the difference. There ain't too many teams that have a 7 foot guy who can, you know, shoot the ball, shoot the three, and then we matched up so well all across the board with anybody else. Like even if you had a great forward, we could put somebody on that forward and force them to Rashid. So
Yeah.
I think Rashid will always be the X factor when we come up to any of the teams today or even back then.
Got you. Last question. Summertime. is coming up. What's on your plate? Cookout plate.
Ha. This is not thinking about the pandemic. You know what? Summertime, I always have though we started two things that's going to happen hopefully this summer. I've always had a Father's Day fish fry. You know, I started that about 7 to 8 years ago, just having all the fathers come over and I would fry fish and we would obviously drink and eat food and socialize. Only the males, only the fathers would be invited. And also we actually started a Gratz alumni barbecue.
Oh, no doubt.
So yeah, those two things would definitely be on the plate this summer.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's get right into it, man. I have a few questions, of course, but you know, with the legends, man, you know, individuals like yourself, I don't want to pigeonhole you. I just want to give you the freedom just to kind of tell your story, man. So I'm gonna just open it up to you, man. You have the floor to just go as long as you want. Just start us off, man, just by introducing yourself and you know, where the LYNARD Stewart story began, man.
Oh wow, that's a good one. So the story began. I mean, it's going to be a lot of stuff that obviously nobody probably would knew. With people even who might think they know me or know about me would be like, oh wow, I didn't know that. One of the first things is that I'm the youngest of three. I lost my sister to breast cancer a couple years back, but two older brothers that actually starred in the city and played collegiately and went on to play professionally. So I was the youngest of those guys. And I just learned the game. I learned from them. But my story, honestly, would be that I was born to play basketball. Like I honestly say that because I never worked out. I wasn't a part of no middle school basketball team. The first time I played organized basketball was in the ninth grade. And from the amazingly, the ninth grade, you wouldn't even notice, like, back then in my area of the city, which was North Philly, but I always called it the suburbs of North Philly because it was near Ridge and Allegheny, where you're right down the street from the drive, you're right up the street, you know, houses are beautiful, the block was big. And so we played so many games. Like we would play baseball one day, we would play football one day, we would play basketball in the crate. And me and my middle brother, Steven, we would literally play in the house, you know, like with a sock. And I think, honestly, I can say that's where a lot of my moves come from. Like, if you can make a move on somebody in a house with a sock and a hanger, you know what I mean? So now if you give me a goal in the basket in space, you in trouble. So, right, my first real ever workout was with him. He went to Parkway and played for Haviland Harper, and it was down Gustine Lake. And I was down there, and he was, you know, coach was like, oh, this your brother? He's kind of tall. He got big hands. He might be able to be something. Let me put him through a workout. He put me through this workout, and I said, I'm not playing basketball. Like, this not. I'm tapping back. I'm doing mic drills. I'm sprinting. I'm doing layups. And I'm like, this is what, you know, I'm thinking, you know, street basketball. This is what basketball is. And so from there, obviously, my brothers was excelling, and my brother went to Diamonds. He went to Coppin State, played in the NBA. And from there, I just went to my mom. My mom, she sent, you know, the neighborhood. She was like, look, you know what? I'm going to try something different with you being the youngest. Send you to a middle school on a school bus. And then that middle school sent me to Lincoln High School. So I wasn't really involved with basketball in North Philly or at the rec centers and nothing like that. And so going to Lincoln, it was a struggle for me because I had to get up early. The culture was different. I never felt like I fit in. So I struggled. And so what happened then, like I played, we used to play at lunchtime, we used to play outside in the back. And obviously I was good. And God was like, yo, you got to try out for the team. You got to try out for the team. Mm-hmm. And I wound up obviously making the team. And it's so funny that I played ninth grade.
What grade was this again?
Ninth grade. Ninth grade,
gotcha.
I made the team. And just playing this, and I can honestly say, I hope this coach don't still know me. He probably was the worst coach ever. When you talk about a teacher still in the check, he was still in the check. It was like, throw the ball out, y'all play, we travel. And we actually, I think I remember playing a buddy of mine, Rashid Brookenborough, at U City.
Oh, and speaking of Rashid, she just jumped on.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brookenborough. Shout out to Rashid.
He know exactly what I'm talking about whenever we talk. And, you know, we seen each other and we both recognized that we had talent, you know, whatever else, but I just was out there. I wasn't dedicated, wasn't involved. And then academically, I was just failing. Like, there's no other way to put it. I was failing. I was getting to school late, not caring. And so my 10th grade year come, I play again. You know, the team is, we're not that good. We're in E division. You know what I mean? We're just playing. And then I wound up playing, you know, Sunny Hill, like everybody who played basketball, played Sunny Hill Future League.
And that was
I
over
mean,
at McGonigal at
McGonigal in the back gym. And I mean, the funny part, I was good, but I didn't know I was good. You know what I mean? And I remember this is exactly what happened, how I got the Gratz. We was playing a North Philly team, and they had the Gratz team. They had Reds, Terrell, you know, Rashid wasn't there, but they was good. But I was holding my own. Like, I was, you know, blocking shots, getting layups, playing, and then literally Sean Red Smith came to me like, yo, what school do you go to? Like, he
Wow.
literally said this, like, where do you live at and what school you go to? Like, because you're amazing. You're 6'6", you're athletic, you can run, you can play. And he just realized, like, I was never really taught. It's natural. And
Wow.
so he proposed. He was like, yo, where you live at? And I was like, yo, I live 33rd and Allegheny. My brother was there, and I was like, he was like, yo, you should come to Gratz. And I
Wow.
was like, he said, Gratz right up the street. He was like, how did you skip Gratz?
Yeah.
He said, how did you skip Gratz? My bad, you know. How did you skip Gratz anyway? And I'm like, I don't even know. Like, and so I talked to my brother, and I went and talked to my mom, and Reds was like, oh, yo, we're going to be #1 team in the country. We got the #1 player in the country. So at first I'm like, well, I don't want to go there. Like, are you crazy? Like, 6'10" guy, #1 player, we #1. I'm like, I don't want to go there. But then my brother was like, well, look, think about it like this. Like, you ain't got to get up that early. You know what I mean? You can just school right up the street. You might need a different environment academically. It could be good for you. And we went and talked to my mom, and my mom was on board because she was like, look, you messing up there anyway. And
Uh-huh.
so, you know, it wasn't no issue because Gratz literally was my neighborhood school. And
Gotcha.
so went down there, applied, went the first day, and things just turned out amazing. Like, academically, I became an honor roll student
Wow.
on my own, and then obviously basketball wise, the biggest thing that probably happened to me, obviously Reds coming up to me after that, but my brothers obviously was excelling at Coppin State. They was doing great. I used to go see them and watch them play basketball. But obviously the biggest thing that happened was having the #1 player in the country as your mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And for Rashid, he was a mentor like I'm gonna show you. Like, he's not gonna say, okay, let me teach you this or let me pull you to the side. No. Rashid probably blocked my shot for 3 weeks straight. Like, I might not have gotten a shot up. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, that's no lie. So then once you learn how to score on that type of player, oh, everything else was easy. And then that team obviously was an amazing team. And, you know, I flourished. I learned so much. Like, I was a sponge because I was so raw. You know what I mean? I was a sponge. Like, it was like anything that, you know, Coach L told me, discipline, running, being in condition, schoolwork, being, you know, making sure you're doing the right things in the classroom. I was just absorbing all of that. And my mom started to really support me, and everybody started supporting me because my grades was good. I was doing the right things. I was coming right home after school. And that year, you know, we had so many great players that I absorbed from. I took all of that. And then amazing, like I said, I never played organized basketball until the ninth
Mm-hmm.
grade. And from the ninth grade, by the time I was a senior, I was the Philadelphia Player of the Year,
Wow.
being recruited by, you know, nationally. And this is without AAU basketball. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't play AAU basketball. You
Uh-huh.
had to go to the summer camps and stuff like that. Um, that's one thing that I can always commend Coach L for doing is that he knew everybody in the country is watching Rashid. Every school in America is here to see Rashid. So let me take advantage of that because Rashid is already taken care of.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Rashid just got to make a decision. So guys was, you know, coaches would see. I was getting letters from Wake Forest. I did a visit with Wake Forest. I was getting all types of, you know, because of that. And then from there, obviously, you know, I was getting all these letters. I had to make a decision in college, but that was like my history. Like, I can honestly say, like, I never worked, like, never was in gym. It just happened. It was just a
That's
natural
amazing,
progression.
man. That's
And
amazing.
then
Hey,
obviously I made the choice to Temple.
just curious, man, before we, talk about any college stuff or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
like you talked about, like, you were just playing and everything. You said you didn't even realize you were good. At what point? Okay, all right. Two questions. First question
Mm-hmm.
is, when did you, in your heart and in your mind, fall in love with the game, and actually dedicate yourself to it? And then also, second part of the question, when did you realize that you were okay and
Right.
actually good? And then when did you gain confidence that you can dominate?
Right. Well, I actually, I was in love with football. When I tell you I was in love with football, I was in love with football. Like I just, my hands was big. I could catch everything. And, but back then, obviously my mom couldn't afford me to put me in like a little league and stuff like that. And so I think I probably came in love with the game of basketball was down playing at McGonigal Hall in like the Sunny Hill League. Like I was able to have, my mom would come to a game. I was young
Mm-hmm.
and you were on that court. Like sometimes I would go in and I was so used to watching my brothers at playing the Baker League or the College League. And that was some of the most amazing things I ever saw. Like
Yes.
my brother played on the team with Pooh Richardson himself and Dozie and Banu and the announcer. That's all I heard the whole time. Pooh Richardson, Larry Stewart, Pooh Richardson, Larry Stewart. And I started saying, yo, like that's some amazing things that's going on down there. So when I got the opportunity myself to play on that court, I just fell in love with it. Like being there and having people watch you play and being able to do certain things and score baskets and play a team basketball game. So that's when I fell in love. I realized I was good once I was able to start scoring on Rashid. You know what I mean?
So
And
that was
like,
the measure. That was the
that was the
measure.
measure. Yeah, I mean, that's the greatest measure that you can possibly have. Like, you're the number one player in the country, and so, and then our best battles was in practice, and so guys like, yo, we need you. Like, we ain't winning this game unless whatever else. So that's where that I started realizing, like, hold up now, if I can score on this guy, come on, like, can't nobody really stop me. And those
Exactly.
practices and those games was amazing. You know what I mean? So that's where I fell in love with it and realized that yo, I can play. I can play.
Hey, just curious. All right, take me through the transformation. This is mind-boggling, man, because we're in a day in an age now where all the kids got trainers and you got to train from the day you can walk. And
Right.
then everybody's playing AAU. You got an AAU you got to play 50 games a day. And then I see some kids who've taken that format and formula, and I see them and I'm like, I can't tell,
Right.
right?
Right. 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 Right.
And then
Right.
you
I
have
got you.
yourself never played organized ball. You make people see some potential. Ninth grade, you kind of, and then 12th grade, you're the public league
Totally.
player of
Yeah.
the year. Like,
Right.
take me through that 4 years and what happened, man?
Well, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. What occurs these days, we played a lot more basketball. I played a lot. Like anywhere we was playing. It wasn't no, we all let's get some cones, let's dribble. You know what I mean? Like if it was two of us in there, we playing. If there's three of us in there, we wait for a fourth to come. We playing one on one. Four, and we played. And we played with older guys. I would go to, you would go to playground and play with older guys. And they taught you so much of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 2-3 zone, you was taught that in the playground out there. How you beat it, you flash middle, and then they put pressure on you. We pass you this ball, you better make this layup because you ain't getting it again. And you know
Yes.
how them games go. If
Yes.
you lose, you might as well go at home because the line is it's a long wait. So you play hard, you play smart, and they taught you a lot. So I learned how to play the game because the game is a game too. It's mental. You know what I mean? It's very much mental. Like these kids definitely are way more skilled than us. Like hands down, it's more
Mm-hmm.
skilled than me than I ever was. And I can honestly say that I wish that I had some of that skill stuff because like I might have went where that further. I appreciate my life and all that other stuff,
Uh-huh.
but I know at certain point in time, certain skill things I didn't have as a player.
Yeah.
But that's what I think occurs with these guys because now you're taught angles like you're not going to get 4 dribbles to get to the basket or 3 dribbles to get into the basket. You need to have certain things and certain skills to get the things that you want out of it.
Uh-huh.
So that's what happened to me. I became good because I knew how to play the game, and I love playing the game. Like I love being a team player. I like to see for me to make an assist or for me to set a screen for a guy or tell a guy, oh, I'm over here and help. So I was able to embellish all the aspects of the game in those 4 years. So when I was able on the court, I was able to do all those things and play the game of basketball. And that's what helped me a lot. Because now, as you see, it's a lot of individual stuff. It's a lot of one-on-one stuff. And, I think that's what's kind of hurting the game a lot. But that's where, even guys I know who train guys and I see them develop guys say, yo, y'all got to get these guys playing basketball because it's a 5-on-5 sport. And that guy ain't going to be able to dribble all the way over there, then back over here, then do this. He got to learn how to take them skills and be able to apply them into that game. And so that's what I encourage people to do. So that's what honestly just happened to me, where I just played, and I played everywhere. That's the next thing. That's where another confidence come. Like I was able to go down to, for example, to East Falls with a guy like Turk Mott because he knew my brother and the projects was right there and they welcomed us. And then I was able to go up to Rose in the evening time and play against those guys. And I was able to go up Whittier, and I was able to play everywhere, not just in my own. So that builds confidence. Like, oh, I know this guy from South, this guy from West. Okay, that's not a problem. You're not scared to face them guys.
Mm-hmm. Describe what type of player you were back then, in your high school days, what some of what your strengths were and some of your weaknesses, during that time.
It's funny. That's a good one too. In high school, obviously that 1 year, that 93 team, I just came in and knew what I had to do. It wasn't on my shoulders. We already had people. We had big enough shoulders that was carrying, all those loads. You know what I mean? My senior year was a year where it was like, okay, if you don't get it done, we might lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's one thing we wasn't used to doing. Or if you don't get it done, we might lose. Or if you don't get the best out of everybody else, we got a chance of possibly losing the game. You know what I mean? And so we knew that, and we had such confidence. That year coming off that number 1 year, I think when he lost 3 games that senior year two. So, we had such confidence going to tournaments and stuff like that. So I carried more, on my shoulders to do more and be more assertive. I think in college, it was an adjustment. I went to college. I started every game since I was a freshman. I might have missed 2 games though, but came in as a freshman and played. So it took me some adjustment. You know what I mean? Your body, that kind of is different. I was on the wing, which I actually loved. And then I had to make an adjustment. I think my senior year, for the sake of the team, we wound up losing a player. Nobody ever remembers this, but there was a player called Marvin Webster that was a hell of a forward. His father played in the NBA. He wound up dying in the summer of one of the years before my junior year at Temple. Wow. He was going to be our 4-man. He was an athlete. He had everything, and he passed away. So, I had to make an adjustment to, for the team and for the sake of everything else that I was like playing a 4 and stuff like that. And so that's, I just did what I had to do. That's the kind of player I was. I'm going to do whatever we need. I'm a winner. Like I can understand I'm a winner. So whatever you need me to do. So if you say, LYNARD, we need you to get 20 points tonight, I can do it. If we say we need you to get 10 points, 5 assists, 3 blocks, I'm going to do it. Whatever you need me to do. All right, we got a guy on the team who likes to score. He want to get 30, you scream, I'm going to do it. Because I like winning. You know what I mean? I've always been a winner. So I can kind of describe myself throughout them years before I became a pro, from high school to Temple, I was just being a winner.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
If you can relive some of those playground league memories, man, just, I really want the younger generation to look, because I remember pulling up on Broad Street. It was never a parking spot out there. You had to park on one of the side streets, maybe park far away. And I just remember walking in McGonigal Hall. I didn't play there. I grew up in Norristown, but, I would come down and just watch the games because I was just in love with it. But I would just remember walking in the gym, and I would see like it was just like the whole landscape. You would see Hardnett, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace. I would see Hardnett there and a whole bunch of like, the good players surrounding him, and then games going on, and just describe the atmosphere, man. And besides that, some of the playground leagues or players you played against, man, some of the names, back in, your high school days, not high school, just leagues and playground ball. Just kind of describe it, man.
I think, and I'm sorry to say, I know this new generation is going to probably, might combat me with this, but that era of basketball probably was the best era of basketball that Philly ever seen. The basketball in the city was like at the highest point it could be at, to where in the morning time, for example, you go to a Harnett workout and you got everybody there.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, I don't mean everybody in the city. I mean, you got Allen Houston might be there one day. You got AI showing up one day. You got dudes who trying out for the league one day. You got every college player that's going somewhere, that's in from the area, from St. Joe's, LaSalle, Temple. Then you got the high school kids that's coming up. Everybody is in the morning time there. And you're learning, you're absorbing so much. And then what amazing about that, in the evening time, you might see one of them people on the other team. You know what I mean? Like, that's the next phase of it. It's like, yo, we was working out earlier, we ready to go tonight. And that's even separate from the basketball league. The playground league, that's just like, okay, McGonigal, Hall, you might run, you down there balling now. It's time to rock and roll. You done worked out earlier. Now it's time to rock and roll. That mean the guys like Eddie Jones, Aaron McKee, Rick Brunson, LeVan Austin, Lynn Greer, Rasheed Brookenborough, Faron Hand, Alvin Williams, Sean Colson. These are all the guys you seeing that's in the gym. We all just getting better. You know what I mean? We going at it. We getting better. No animosity, no arguing. We here to get better. Turk Mott was always an amazing player. Mark Jackson. I don't want to miss them. So many names. And so that was amazing there. And then the playground league, kids don't know the playground league. I got introduced to, for example, 16th Street from my brother.
Oh, man. Man.
My brother, Steven Stewart. I hope you're on here, because for a while they used to call this a 3-pointer out in the playgrounds a mookie ball, and that's the reason why, because of him. And I remember as a kid going to a 16th Street game, and first time down North Philly, I'm like, what is going on down here? It is the livest thing you ever seen. You smell food, people doing illegal stuff over here. You got guys gambling over there, but everything is cohesive.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The game.
It was all a part of the culture.
Right. And so the thing that got me hooked, it wasn't just the basketball, but there was a game, no names, but Sad Eye, my brother and all of them was on the team, and the Penny Hardaways, the blue ones, the 360s or 180, whatever they call, they was warming up in different sneakers already. Mind you, Toss It Up, I played for Toss It Up. They had their own DJ. They was warming up already in their, whatever sneakers. DJ, scratch the joint. Coach come up, he opened up the trunk. Everybody put on these Penny Hardaways. The whole playground literally went crazy.
Yo!
I am not lying. The whole playground, the way you just did, everybody was like, because those things just came out and they had them on. And I was
wow.
Like, oh my God. And that playground, that environment down there was like, that made you down there. If you can play down there, that made you. Guys is on the baseline. There is no out of bounds. You got to say, yo, excuse me, dog. Can I take this ball out?
You back up so I can take the ball out.
You know what I mean? Can I take the ball out? And it was for real. Guys was down there playing. You getting elbowed. The referee, you know how that playground, that environment was amazing. And anybody who played basketball played down there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Anybody in the city who played basketball was on a team down 16th Street. And that's what made that so amazing. And then I don't want to take nothing from the other leagues that was there. 33rd Street was another league that was great too. You know what I mean? That was off 33rd and Diamond. That was another league that went on in the playground. And then Julius Irving with Jay Irving had the 52nd Street league that came up and was getting a lot of support. So I was playing in all of them.
Was that,
I remember one time, Parkside.
Yeah. Yep.
Parkside. I played in all of them. Like, I remember one time we had a game. We literally, when that brother, we got to get in the car and go right after that game. And the coach is on the phone, like, we on, you know how they calling, yo, y'all coming, y'all gonna get this forfeit. No, we coming. And then my team, I always played on, a special team. So they always wait for us. They just, we're gonna bust y'all. I don't want to curse, but we're gonna get y'all. You know what I mean? So that time of basketball, and it wasn't, not saying things didn't happen. There's things that happen out there in the world that happen, but it wasn't to an effect where it ruined the league or the league is over. You know what I mean? So we was able to play, and then that from there then took me to, I was able to go out southwest to King Sesson and play. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You come out there, they're going to get on you, but they respected you. Yes. You know what I mean? They respected you. So then I can go down South Philly and play in the playground. You know, every once in a while, oh, we're going outside Philly, let's play against them. So we
Yep.
was able to do that, and then that made who you was. You know what I mean? They gave you your character, they gave you your strength, and that made you a Philly basketball player. That's why Philly guys, if you ever recognize and see them, they tough, they're hard nosed, they're not afraid of nobody, and that's what made you who you was, because we played in those playgrounds and those environments in all different types of in areas of the city. So when we played on that next level, you know, in college basketball, it was nothing. You wasn't scared of nobody. No name. Are you kidding me?
Hey, question. Something that I always hold special, man. In every neighborhood across the country, you know, of course, you have the individuals like yourself, and you know, Rashid Brooklynborough, you know, Jared Kears, you know, everybody who's played, and then you know, then you see them in high school. You know, the fans are following you in high school, then they watch you in college and beyond. But it's a special group of unsung individuals, bro, that their only glory days were the playground. And these were individuals that were the best out, that could have went to high school and been, you know, All-Americans, went to college and been, you know, and then played in the league. You know what I'm saying? But something happens, whether it's life or whatever, or, you know, whatever it is. But who are some individuals that you remember coming up and their story started and just ended in the playground? Like they, you know, like whether it was the streets, like they didn't play high school ball, they didn't go to college, they were just hoop legends in the playground. What are some names that you remember?
I mean, I'll just probably talk about three. I mean, obviously, I'll talk about the one that I feel as though who really touched me and was a part of my life. I'll talk about him last. But you got a guy like Aaron Owens, AO, who went to Gratz. You would never see him. Okay, he was a part of the #1 team. That he went to Gratz, but he became a playground legend and took it to that next level. And you know, he was able to. Everybody knew him from the playground. You want to see AO, you're gonna cross you, he's gonna do you, he's gonna give you everything you need. And then at that time, and came up, he took himself, made a name for himself worldwide through that. But everybody used to always say, well, that's all that he got. He could only do playground stuff. And so one thing that occurred, there was a time when the Sunny Hill All-Stars used to play against the Sixers pre-draft team.
Wow.
Before they got whatever. Played at McDonald's. Great game. Me and AO there. I already knew it, you know. AO like, look, I'm going to kill. Nobody can stand in front of him. His right to left, his change direction is impossible to guard. And when I say he went out there and destroyed, I don't even know the guard name. It might have been, oh my God, I do know who it was. Whoever the guard they thought that can stop Kobe in the championship. What was his name? He played in the league for a while. I'll probably think of him and go. They told me he was the Kobe stopper. He played for the Sixers. He was in that championship team. Anyway, he was guarding AO, and AO destroyed him. And so here's another story. So I wound up getting a contract in Israel, and literally I flew over to Israel. We worked out all week with Aaron. I probably had a flight hypothetically on a Friday. Get off the plane. Agent is there. He says, "Yo, your team needs a point guard." Oh, Rajah Bell.
Rajah Bell. Appreciate that.
Killed Rajah Bell. Got off the plane. Agent said, "Yo, your team need a point guard. Y'all ain't got a point guard. I'm in trouble." Oh, I know a guy. I just left. Aaron Owens. 2 days later, Aaron flew over.
Wow.
Me and Aaron, when I tell you we was in Israel together, we stayed. People don't see this is stuff people don't even know. Me and Aaron, when we built a friendship through this, because we stayed in a jail cell in Israel, just me and him. And it was cool because like, yo, we both from Philly. Like, you know what I mean? We became real bonded. And Aaron was killing the league. We was both killing the league. And guys, we played the #1 team over there, Tel Aviv, and they had Tony Parker that played for Cleveland. He was on the team. And, you know, these guys was amazing. Me and Aaron killed them. What happened was, though, Aaron wound up getting real sick. It was like this real rare stomach virus. He got sick. So he wound up coming home. And then, you know, he wound up blowing with Amwin and stuff like that. But he was one player. Hot Rod, Rodney, Cutlet, Cuff Right, they would call him out there. And I seen him play with my brother. And I'm like, yo, this guy is an amazing guard. He got to change direction. He got a jump shot. He has everything you need. And I think Hot Rod wound up going to college, to a junior college out California and stuff like that and playing still. Obviously, the other player I think that I'll end it on is, Sad-Eye Watson.
Of
People will
course.
say it. People will talk about him, but see, I can bring a different angle because I was with him. We played on Toss It Up. I seen this man play. I seen him come down McGonigal Hall during the pro workouts and destroy pros.
Wow.
And I seen it in the sense of this dude don't even work out. I said, yo. Now I was coming from college. I remember this one particular day. I was with Sad Eye all day. For some reason, he got me in the morning. We had a game that night. So he got me in the morning. Oh, we're going to go. We're going to do this. I got to run around. So we're running around. So around 2 o'clock, in my mind, I'm a basketball player. Yo, Sad, I got to go lay down. Like, I got to, go lay down or whatever else. We still running around. I said, dog, you must go on. This game tonight must going to be on you. Because we literally rode around all day. And so we get there. He don't even got no shoes. It's this kid, mine is the Toss It Up game. It's a 16, it's packed. It's this kid out there with a pair of Jordans on and said, yo, let's trade and take this $100. And literally, we was in the car all day. Said, get out and had 30 points.
Wow.
I said, yo, I ain't never seen a person drive all day, move around all day, don't take no shots, get out, play ground league, and just do what you did. And I actually was involved with Sad probably at the latter years, like when Michael Jordan was in 98, 90, the 97, where he's at the height. And that's where Sad was. Like a couple years later, he retired from basketball. But that guy right there ultimately had everything you needed to have basketball-wise. You know what I mean? So to be involved with him and to call him like a friend and a mentor in that sense is a great for me, myself.
Wow, legendary, man. I appreciate that, man. Hey, if you can transition into just kind of sum up, tell me about your the last 2 years of Gratz, the junior year, what those experiences were like, and then your senior year. Just talk about, touch on any career highlights, memorable games, what that run was like as your junior year, traveling around. Because I know y'all were, you guys played a national schedule, correct?
Yeah.
Just talk about those experiences, and then ended up by just talking about, what it was like to play, for Coach L.
Right. So obviously, I was just coming into a program like that. Them guys was already used to that. Coach L had a nationally ranked team prior to that. Brian Short and them dudes. He had another national team that was number one in the country too.
Okay, so that was nothing new.
That was nothing new for them to be involved in, for that program to be that way. So with me coming in, I never flew on a plane before. We got to take a flight. What? We got to go here. We going, what? We doing, so we had the national schedule, and that was like, and this is before, that's the only thing I regret, us not having social media or the phones that we had, because Rashid was a rock star in high school.
Wow.
These games were sold out. Like, we was going to games sold out. We had games was over. They running up, trying to get his autograph and stuff like that. And so, that was just like, wow. We like, rock stars around here. Like, Gratz was in town.
And imagine
we would go,
being able to, everybody now got their phones up.
Right. That would, right. We don't even
document everything.
Be documented. That would have been amazing. And then, so we would go to restaurants and the bill would be paid, or, whatever. That's on us. Y'all the number one team in the country. Game wise, we had a couple battles. I remember, I talk about one game because I remember Coach L. Me being a coach now, I recognize what he did. Gerald Honeycutt in high school.
Ooh, Honeycutt, yeah.
He was, I don't know how I remember these names. He was a bad boy.
Yes, he was. Honeycutt was a bad boy, man.
Coach
McDonald's
L,
All-American.
All-American. All-American. And Coach L came and we was in the locker room. I think it might have been a practice before, the day before the game. And Coach L was like, oh, you know what, Rashid? They saying he's number one, not you.
Oh.
You know what I mean? He's like, oh, you know what? He's a bad boy. He's a 6'8" wing. He going to dunk on you. He going to shoot the three on you. He going to post you up. Rashid, I don't know how we're going to pull this one off. And I remember before the game, Rashid always, earphones or whatever. I remember like he just was away from everybody. And he just was, grooving and doing his thing. And I was looking, I was like, oh shit, this about to be some, because we never had to exert that type of energy because we always was dominant. And I said, oh, this is about to be something. So before the game, Coach L said, you know what, Rashid, I'm putting you on Gerald Honeycutt. So we all like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And when I mean that boy dominated him, Gerald might have had 5 points.
Oh my gosh.
We probably won that game by 30. And that's when I seen, because up until then, I can honestly say, like, all right, I can see Robert Sheet #1. He's 6'10".
Yeah.
All right, I get it. If
But
I
you
was
see him
6'10",
go to another level.
yeah, like if I was 6'10", I'd be #1 in the country too. Like that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
But when I seen him respond in that manner and let everybody know, like, hold up, I am who I am, and they not lying about the ranking and the person that I am. And I was like, wow. And so, I mean, other than that, those practices and us bonding, and I remember another experience with us running, because obviously we ran cross country, and we used to have courses around Gratz. You know, we might have to run the Gratz all the way up to 100, all the way up. We used to go run to the Dell and back and stuff like that.
Wow.
And one time we had this course, and you can cut across SEPTA, you know, whatever, you make it short. So one day we just was like, yo, we don't feel like doing this. You know what I mean? Like, come on, we already in shit. So she was like, you know what? We ain't doing this today. We cutting across. We gonna cut across. So, you know, we're like, all right, well, look, you don't want to play the country. You know what I mean? We gonna
follow you.
Right? By the time we got back, Coach L already got the call. Running back, we said we gotta slow up. You know, we get back too soon.
You can't make world
you can't make it right. So we planned it right. So Coach L sitting there like, y'all dumb MFs. He said, you know, somebody called me on the call to school and said there's a 6'11" fool running across live train tracks. So we thought we was gonna be, you know, roofed. You know, Coach L had this thing. We had to run 200 laps or something like that. Wow. And so Coach L said, you know what, guys? You know, safety-wise, I need you guys to be smart. He said, but you know what? Since y'all followed him as a leader and y'all did it together, I respect that. You know, I'm not going to punish y'all.
No doubt.
And so another thing about them years that I remember is that Coach used to have to set a bar for us. All right, this team can't score 30. This team can't score no more points in the quarter. And I remember a game we allowed Martin Luther King to score 30.
Wow.
First time something happened like 35 or something like that. And so we thinking like, all right, my God, he ain't gonna take it this serious. Man, next day in practice, Coach L had his stopwatch, a chair, and we ran 200 laps. And, you know, like those are things I kind of remember, you know, those moments. Games are hard to remember because they were so, you know what I mean? It was
kind of like a blur, you know.
It was a blur because it was like they was over either in the first quarter or by halftime. You know what I mean? The impact that Rashid had. My senior year was much different because it was just 5 of us. It was 6. I mean, we had me, Brian Samuels, Terrell Stokes, Red Smith, and Michael Blunt. We played the whole game. Now, mind you, missing Jarrett. We had Jarrett and Marvin O'Connor. That was, I don't know if they was on JV or just, you know, on varsity. I think they played JV, but just played varsity in the end. And Coach Al didn't. That's one of the things. There ain't no JV players playing or whatever else. So they was there, and so it was just us. So it created a bond between us because that's all we got. You know what I mean? That's all we got is us, and we bonded together so well that senior year of playing games. Like we wasn't spectacular. We were still ranked. My senior year, we were still ranked. We played number 1 team. We lost to Felipe Lopez. He's number 1 team in the country. We played them. We lost to them by like 2 or 3. Yes, right.
Yeah, man.
We lost to Kevin Simpson. Yeah, I remember the losses. Kevin Simpson in Baltimore. They cheated the hell out of us. Coach L was actually going to take us off the court because down there, like we would have beat them. It would have been 2 out-of-state teams playing in their championship. So they wanted Felipe to play against their best guy. And so they cheated. I ain't never seen Coach L was like, yo, we leaving. He was like about to walk us off the court during the game because they was like calling fouls and it was blatant. But we just, you know, we sucked it up as a guest in that tournament and stuff like that. But Felipe was the truth.
Yo, he was, you know, they call him, he was the Dominican Michael Jordan, man.
He was older. Now, don't get it twisted now. He was older. Kevin, he was like 18, 19 or whatever.
No doubt.
So, because the stuff he was doing, I was like, hold up, dog. You posting up, shooting the fake? Nah.
I
Like,
remember. That's when remember the Philadelphia, the Inquirer High School Sports Show
mm-hmm.
was going on. I think that's when I saw Felipe. It was around that time I saw him, and I was just like, yo, this dude is like
And
professional,
he was a
man.
professional, and New York teams are already they just talk so much junk. They carry that New York stuff, and when we played them, they wanted to play. Obviously, they was more us than them because they knew who we was. We didn't know who they was. We knew who Rice and who their player was, but they knew Gratz and da da da.
Yes.
So they was up for us. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? It was a great game. I don't think we lost by 2 or 3, but you seen that he was the truth. I mean, you can tell he was older though. Like, you know what I mean? Like we was able to handle it, but you can tell the stuff he was doing is like, yo, you doing some little grown man stuff out here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Real quick before we transition out of high school stuff, were there any public league rivals? Like, was there anybody in the pub that could stand you guys, like in '93 and '90? I'm sorry, in '93, '94.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you go back and look, there were great teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes some people getting a little fussing or argument about Gratz. So I said, yo, there were great teams that was there also.
Because I
You
mean,
had Overbrook.
Jason
You
Lawson
had
was over at
that's what I'm saying.
Allen.
Alany. You had Alany. You had Overbrook. You had FLC. You had U City with Brooklynboro, and Rondell was there in '93. I think. I mean, no, Rondell came to us, but prior to that, Rondell was us. Because you got to think there was so many great guys or players that went on to play Division I basketball.
Yeah.
And so there were great teams. It's just that, we played Alany and they opened up the court, and that was a big game with us against Rashid and them. And the FLC battles was always, I think the year to me coming in '93, FLC beat Gratz in the championship.
Uh-huh.
So there was always great teams that was always out there. I just think, like sometimes it just, we had that discipline, and we was a program that ran all year long.
Gotcha.
And it showed at times when it was time to win games. You know what I mean? Like we played all year long. We was doing something together all year long.
Gotcha.
If either running track, or if it was playing in the summer leagues, or if it was us calling each other like, yo, what's up? So because it was ran like a program, that put us over the top on these teams who wasn't doing the things we was doing.
Uh-huh.
They wasn't running cross country that we was running. They thought it was a joke. They laughed. Y'all running cross country, them little shorts and all that other stuff. And guess what? When we running up and down your behind on the basketball court, you realize that. You know what I mean? So, and the Chester, like not even just in the pub, like Chester teams was great. Coatesville teams was great. So there was a lot of great teams that was out there that existed, that competed. We just and sometimes your reputation wins games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you already come in, you defeated. You think about Gratz.
Yep.
We got Gratz tonight.
You kind of from a fan perspective. Oh, they go Sheed. They go to
right. You already
psychologically
lost.
You
You
checked
lost.
out.
If you thought about us last night and was telling you in trouble. You know what I mean? Because rather than saying, all right, it's another game. And the funny part is we could tell teams that did that and teams who didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Teams who thought about us the night before. Oh, when we stepped, dang, they really the truth. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Versus teams who ready to go and we about to be in a battle.
Uh-huh. So, hey, one last thing before so what I see it's coming to a close within like this first hour is coming to a close within like 4 or 5 minutes. So I don't want to I just want to have a smooth transition. So last question I'm gonna ask you about Coach L, and then I'm gonna end this one. I'm gonna end this one, save it, and then start a new one. Then just rejoin me. We're gonna continue and wrap it up.
No problem.
Yeah. So what was it like playing for Coach L? Or I guess what was it like playing for him? And then what's something that you learned that never left you and that you may take into your coaching? Yeah.
Coach L, he was, and then obviously he's still involved with me today. He was that figure for us, for those in the city, for the school, that just stood out like a beacon. Obviously he served in the armed forces. He's Vietnam, so that's where that discipline come from. But coming to him, it's like, at first you kind of look at him like, oh, like a father figure, but you ain't never catch yourself having no conversation with Coach L. Like, you know what I mean? Like you might be your dad, like, yo, dad, I'm thinking about this girl. No. So it was it was very unique on the relationship you had with him back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a form of lovingly discipline,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he always kept us on his goal. And he always, you know, made sure the educational piece was there for us. So now that I can say, I can look back, because now Coach L is one of my best friends
Got you.
versus being just a coach.
Yes.
Because now that personality, and I understand a lot more now. I realized he couldn't do that, even though he might have wanted to joke with us. He
Mm-hmm.
might have wanted to talk to us about girls or, you know, whatever else. He always kept it to where it's like, yo, this is what you need to be doing. You need to focus on, worry about your family, take care of your family. Now I
Mm-hmm.
have that side of him that I didn't have as a player.
Got you.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was sitting there, it hit me one time, like we was in the stands watching the game, and coach made a comment like to like one of the referees that I never ever heard like say. He was like, that was the worst goddamn call in basketball. What the hell is he doing? I'm like, coach, like, and it almost broke this wall down to where we talk about everything. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
I realized that, coach, you got one of the best personalities that I ever experienced as
Yes.
a coach and as a mentor. And he's been there for me when I first got my coaching job at Penn Charter as a high school coach. One of the stipulations that I brought to the table was like, look, you know, because I never coached high school before. And
Uh-huh.
I reached out, I said, coach, look, I'm going for this job. You know, can I lean on you? Can I call you sometimes? He was like, what? That's, you know, make no sense. He said, tell me, you can put my name on a piece of paper.
Exactly.
And he was there to mentor me. And he told me one of the things that as a coach, besides a man, he told me one time, you know, it was during the game and we was losing. And it might have only been a minute left, whatever else. And after the game, he said, you know, you never stop coaching.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you never stop doing it. If this is what you're going to be, and if this is what you're going to do, you coach the entire game. I
Yep.
don't care if it's 10 seconds left. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. You still coach.
Yes.
Because he's seen me like, all right, this game is over. Sit
Yeah, I'm
down.
checked out. I'm good.
And
Yeah.
right. And he's like, no, you got these kids involved. You never stop coaching.
Uh-huh.
And he taught me that. And then he also taught me as a man, like, yo, you always continue to learn. You know what I mean? You never stop learning. When you stop learning, that's when you might as well say it's over. So
Mm-hmm.
you're always learning, you're always thinking, you're always reading. You want to, you know, empower yourself more with education and learning and knowledge. And that's what he kind of brought to me. And, you know, he's an amazing person to me to this day. I'm calling right now and he'll answer the phone.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, hey, this is part one, Legends Week, man. For everybody tuned in, thank you so much, man. You're getting a treat right here. You're hearing the voice of the legend, so humble, LYNARD Stewart, man. You know, Simon Gratz, Temple. We're gonna take a quick break. Everybody that's tuned in, I'm gonna just end this one because we're coming up on the hour. I'm gonna start a brand new one in like another minute. I just gotta end this one, save it, and then I'm gonna start a new one. Rejoin me, and we're gonna continue, man. We're gonna talk about college, your pro career, and we're
Yes.
gonna have a nice Q&A from the people. Let the people ask you some questions. All right.
Perfect. Perfect.
I'll see you on the other side, right there.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
First hour of the broadcast, he talked about growing up, you know, coming up in the Philly area, family, you know, what led him to Simon Gratz. We ended up talking about Coach L. Now we're going to talk about the Donofrio Classic, college, and beyond. Here we go. We back. Part two. We good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Loud and clear. All right, real quick. So we just wrapped up talking about Coach Ellaby. So one thing it's a transition between one thing we didn't talk about, and you said you did not play AAU basketball, correct?
No, never played on the
Okay.
AAU basketball.
So no AAU. Did you play up in Conshohocken at the legendary Donofrio Classic?
Yes, I did.
Talk
Yes, I
about it.
did.
Talk about
That you know, I can't. I'm glad. You know what? That's why you're the host. I'm glad you brought that up because that was one.
it.
That was a
Listen,
very.
legendary, man.
That was
Legendary. People
something
don't
that
know.
was like, hold up, we going to country hockey? Like Coach, I think Coach Elma. I don't know who took us up there. We wasn't a full Gratz team.
In a little tiny gym.
It was a tiny gym. You walk in, you like, yo, what's going on in here?
Yes.
I believe Larry Strand was on my team. Might have been Catino Mobley. I forget. We had a nice team.
Wait, what? Wait. First off, how many years did you play up there?
I probably played 2 because I wasn't involved in it in my freshman high school year.
You kind of had to be known. People bring you in.
Yeah, you ain't just, everybody ain't going to play up there.
Exactly. So can you remember the first year you played? After your junior year, do you remember who may have been on your team then? Anybody?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember. It probably was some guys from Sunny Hill. It might have been like a guy. It was so funny. It might have been a Matt Langle, Michael Jordan, that went to Penn. Because I played with them guys too. That's one thing about it. I didn't always play with, the Gratz guys, whatever. So I believe it might have been like Michael Jordan, Matt Langle, because he was a shooter. But because I remember playing with Mike, so I believe it was Mike Jordan through the Harnett type situation.
Okay. And then your senior year, the second year you played, you remember any of those teammates?
That might have been Catino and Catino, because me and Catino played a lot together through them years or whatever else. So, and Larry Strand, I remember my buddy Larry Strand always tell me about the story, like, yo, we lost in the championship or something. I think I remember, but that was some good stuff because it's you on top of each other, people there watching and scouting and whatever else. And I think I might have made a name for myself a little bit from my junior year going to my senior year out there.
Okay.
Because there was a huge shadow that was in front of me, which is understandable. But I think I might have made a name for myself during that time period. Because all the writers is there, all the sports writers was there, high school ranking guys, because they were so important because there was no AAU basketball.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? So those guys were so important.
That was back when the Division I college coaches could come to Conshohocken and watch those games too. Yeah.
But that was my first experience, like seeing college coaches that I seen on TV, stuff like that, and it just was an amazing experience to see those guys at that game in that environment, watching us play basketball.
Yeah. Do you remember how you guys may have done at the second time you played? If y'all kind of
I remember us. Like I said, I've always been a winner. People can say what they want to say, but I remember, I believe, making it to the championship because, like I said, I was a team player. So whatever you bring into the table, we're gonna work it out and get it done.
No doubt.
So that's some information I do want to know. Did I ever win that one?
Yeah.
That's a good
cool,
question.
Man. Yeah, we'll do some research, man. Ask Michael Jordan. Ask MJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Mike. Mike knows. That's my buddy.
That's saying MJ has a good memory, so he would know. He would know for sure.
Right.
All right. So put in perspective. Whenever I think about like my god brother, if you remember Harry Allen from up Norristown, that's my god brother. So just growing up, in the house with him, and just just whenever you think about high school hoops, big time high school hoops in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, whenever you think about college recruitment, like remember Hoop Dreams with Arthur Agee and those guys, I just remember the sneaker boxes full of letters. And then, they dumping the boxes on the bed, all the college letters. That's the image that I embraced when you talk about college recruitment. And it's different now. We got social media. You got kids, are announcing their offers on their Instagram page. When back in the day, you had your sneaker boxes, your Nike box full of letters. Just describe your experience of the whole college recruiting process, the nostalgia of that, and then, what led you to Temple.
That was that's a great question too. That experience was eye-opening experience. Like, I'm actually my skills and my talents is actually being recognized for the next level. And just like you said, it was letter after letter after letter. Me transferring to Gratz and then playing behind Rashid. I had trash bags full of letters.
See, that's what
they would come.
Today they don't understand.
They don't understand that, and they would come, and my mom would save them. Oh, here's one from here, and here's one from here. Here's one from Duke. Here's one from Georgia Tech. Here's one from Wake Forest, and and I think I don't know if they was able to see me play, but obviously whatever the writers said, we got a kid named LYNARD Stewart. He's ranked 45th and seniors in the country. It is a senior year. We got to send him a letter just in case, and so. My mom saved them at first. Like, she would save them. Then they would just come because they would come. And Coach L from the school, he would give you 5 a day. Here.
here. You know what I mean? So saving them after a while, at first it was like, okay, but then after a while, you're like, yo, these things starting to build up.
I would imagine initially it may have been like baseball cards, like trading cards. It's
yes.
yo, I gotta do.
Yo, I got this one.
I got a Clemson. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So at first it was like that. Like, yo, I got one from here the other day. And the coaches used to sign it. You know, they had a signature. You would see it in the blue or black ink. The signature, okay, we interested in you, da, da, da. And so I just got to a point where, look, I got to narrow this down.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like and I can't even, like, my favorite all-time school was Georgetown. Like, I had to have a Georgetown hat. I had to have the winter hat. Like, Georgetown was the biggest thing I ever seen, you know, watching them guys play. They had a black coach. I'm like, wow.
Yes.
And Syracuse was my other favorite school. Like, yo, Syracuse, the Dome, and playing there. And I got letters from that. I actually took a unofficial visit to Syracuse. And that recruitment process was amazing. So I just said, yo, I got to narrow this down. And then it was hard for me to even get some close experience. Even though both my brothers played collegiately, they didn't have a high school career that I had. So, you know, both my brothers Prop 48, so their recruitment wasn't like mine. So they both chose Coppin State. And so me getting all these letters, I'm like, yo, what am I supposed to do with all this stuff? Yes. And so I had to, like, analyze and break it down to where, like, yo, okay, what schools are you really considering going to? And so obviously all the local schools was just on my list because I'm a local guy. Then, like I said, I had Syracuse, Georgetown, Wake Forest came. I did that visit. And then it was so funny. So I got down, and I'll tell you, Coppin State was another school, obviously, because both my brothers went there. So coming out high school that period of time, and everybody don't know this incident, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be like, wow. My brother was in the NBA at Coppin. He went from Coppin to the NBA, playing in the NBA. My middle brother was still in going to college his freshman year. And it was getting time for me to narrow my schools down. And so I'm at, 5 schools. I eliminated, I think I had St. Joe's, I had Temple, I had Coppin. I forget who else I had. And then, Temple was always, Temple was me. Like, I was down there in the Baker League. I was there. At the time, they had Aaron McKee, Eddie Jones, and guys like that. And so Coppin State just thought it was like, I mean, they did their job. I don't want to get that wrong. So my head is like, they didn't recruit me hard. I went on a visit. Me and Reg, they did a great job. And to this day, I still wonder if I would have went. But what happened was, during that time period, my brother, who was in the NBA at the time, got robbed and broke it into home invasion, tied him up, stabbed him, shot him in the back of his head. He survived. The story's out there. You can find it. So that time, me choosing from going to college during that time, like really analyzing what schools I'm going to, that happened to my brother. I get a call in the middle of the night. Yo, this is your brother's neighbor calling. Your brother's fine. Let me go. So it's like 4 of them. I'm like, what's going on? He's been shot. I heard the helicopter coming. The air lifted him away. The bullet wound up going to the back of his neck and right out. Guys came in, robbed him, thought he was a drug dealer or something, didn't know, whatever else. And so my mom was concerned, like, yo, like, that's down in that area. It's bad. I don't want, we didn't know if somebody was targeted, something was going on.
But that's traumatic. That's traumatic.
It's traumatic.
You may associate that situation as trauma, so I don't want to do that again.
I don't want to, right. So my mom was like, yo, I can't have you go down there. Wow. And a lot of people don't even know that to this day. It was like, yo, I might have been Coppin State. And then so Temple, obviously I grew up on Temple. Coach Chaney, being in Sunny Hill, seeing Coach Chaney, guys I knew went there. And I remember, I swear to God, they had just played Wake Forest. Rodney Rogers.
Wow.
Rodney Rogers had like 38. Eddie Jones was killing. And, they was killing. They had just lost. Great game. In McGonigal Hall, I was at the game. And Coach Chaney had me. I don't know if Jason Ivey remembers this, but that's one of my great guys that went to Temple that has been a mentor to me. Coach Chaney had me come into the locker room. And so I'm in there. Now, mind you, all these college guys are here. They just had a great game on national TV, sitting there, and Coach Chaney's, talking and stuff. And I'm standing there. He just gives a speech and looks at me and said, let me tell y'all MF or something. You know him. He said, if LYNARD Stewart decides to come here, he's starting next year. Y'all ain't. So, right? So I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me? Like, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting there like, this dude just said this, and I'm like, I'm a kid in high school.
You put a
You
target
guys
on
in
you,
college. They said they
guy.
lost by 30. They lost by 30, but I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me? But so when it came to, here's another story that happened also.
Wow,
that
that's crazy, yo.
here's a couple of things. I know it's a great stories, but so two things that happened too. During that time period, because people still say, yo, why you ain't go to North Carolina? Because Rashid was there in North Carolina.
Yep.
So, you know, obviously he's a man. He might have mentioned, oh, we got a kid up there. I don't know who they was recruiting. Maybe that recruit might have gone somewhere else. They called up to Gratz. North Carolina called to Gratz. And Coach L was like, yo, I got to talk to you. I'm your coach. You know, and, you know, I know you got your schools list down because you don't want to do it or whatever else. He said, but, you know, North Carolina called up here and said, you know, you want to come down and take a visit or, you know, whatever else. And I don't want to say impulsively, but I just felt as though that these other schools was recruiting me already. I done built relationship with guys and, you know, like they just calling up here, you know, whatever else. And I just immediately was like, no, coach, I don't even want to think about it. You know what I mean? And that's what I did from it. Like I just went on and kept it moving.
Wow.
And then
you didn't even entertain it or anything.
I didn't because, and that was probably the best thing. Not saying I don't know what's gonna happen out of North Carolina. You never know, but because it was the best thing for me to do because like I was down to my 5 schools and it was like, you know, like they just recruit me, and who knows why they just started or reached out or whatever else. And I just was like, you know, I don't want to think about it. So let me just go ahead and stick with the decision I'm going to make. And I guess now I can say it because Coach Chaney wouldn't give a heck. I remember coming home one day, right? At the school, coming home, and I'm walking through the neighborhood. I got off the bus early to get a slice of pizza. So I walk down the street, and people out there, yo, you know, what's the name at your crib? You know, Coach Chaney at your crib, man. I'm like, what? Coach Chaney had probably the only person in Philadelphia or the area that had an 850 BMW. He always got an 850. I've never seen one before that was, you know, it was parked outside of my house. Wow. And I'm like, yo, this dude is literally at my house. And I go in and he and my mom.
What year was this and what grade were you in?
This was 94. Before I didn't make my decision yet. So 94. And I go in there and him and my mom was just busting it up in the kitchen. It wasn't like, yo, I'm waiting for LYNARD to get me. No, they laughed. Like, where we talking was they talking. Because they had so much in common to where she went to the Renton Terminal, he went to the Renton Terminal. She went to the Penn Herb store down on 2nd Street. Well, it might not have been there at the time, but he went to Penn Herb. They talking about herbs. They talking about food. That's everything my mom loved. They had that so much in common. And so when I came in, it was like, okay, dang, like him and my mom are, you know, are just naturally getting along. It's not like, oh, this is coach, whatever else. Yeah. And so, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me because, you know, you got to think at that time, because some people say, well, why would you choose Tip? I say, yo, y'all not forgetting that. I'm thinking NBA or how, you know, every high school kid. You got Eddie and Aaron McKee that went 10th and 16th. Like, they are the top. You know what I mean? Tip was on TV every week. We playing everybody. Like they were going to the tournament. They went in the final 8, Elite 8 against Michigan. And why not go there? And it's down the street. My family can come, my friends, my mom. Blah, blah. So for me, it was like, wow. And then, you know, I tell kids now it's different these days. I said, but they got to show you love. Yep. Because you know, are you from here? It's like you going to see your grandma somewhere that lives in another place. Like, I gotta show you love. What you want to eat? Right. Like, you know what I mean? What grandma gonna say? What you want to eat? Exactly. So it just fit perfectly. I mean, to be moving. It fit perfectly for me in a sense of okay. And then Coach L, Coach Chaney, you know what I mean? Those type of things it was so familiar for me in an easy transition for me to go from Gratz to Temple down the street. So it just made sense for me.
No doubt, no doubt. So if you can just transition, you know what you've already bridged the gap. Just sum up, I don't want to stop you. I'm not going to interject because I'm just enjoying your storytelling. And you're so amazing at it. Just talk about your Temple experience. Accomplishments, big games, teammates you played with, and then just like you did high school, you can sum it up. You can end it by talking about what it was like to play for Coach Chaney. I mean, stories, amazing stories, just anything, man.
Is what all that, right? So obviously, I made my decision to come to Temple, and I remember my first experience, not with Coach Chaney yet, but once I made my decision, I don't know the exact rules. We might have been breaking rules, but I remember after I made my decision, I still was in high school, but I would go down Temple like to play basketball in the back gym. And the first experience I had with college basketball was I was back in the back gym with Rick Brunson.
Wow.
Who was going to be my starting point guard or whatever.
Yeah.
So back then, we used to play 3-on-3, 2-on-2. So I'm back there with Rick. I'm seeing him. I'm like, yo, okay, wow, this is Rick. I done seen Rick on TV. This is who he is. I want to see what he got, whatever else. So I don't even know if Jason remember this one either, Jason Ivey. But Rick is a unique character. And so I'm there. So Rick, guys, all the rest of the guys start trickling in. 3 other guys or 2 to 3 other guys. And so we're going to get a 3-on-3 game going. So I'm thinking, all right, Rick going to pick the guys that he know on the team. Rick like, oh, no, I got LYNARD first. That's my first pick.
No doubt.
He's like, so Rick like, oh, yeah, I'm picking him because he's starting with me next year. I need to get to know him.
No doubt.
So I'm like, are you serious? Yeah, but you got to think. You got other guys that's on the team that's playing, that's already in college.
And he's picking his high school boy.
Right. So they like, we're about to kill this little high school kid.
Yes.
And it made Rick, I think, respect me on how I responded. Because remember, I'm from Philly. I'm playground. I'm playing with my brother. So
of course
they may have me physically because I'm not lifting weights and eating the right. But basketball-wise, I'm there. Like, you ain't going to just punk me out or whatever else. So Rick kind of respected that. And I think I got respect from those guys. So then when I did come to that first practice with Coach Chaney and stuff like that, they already knew, okay, you know what? We can respect what's going on. You know the game. But so like when I first got to Temple, my first college experience was like we doing conditioning. And like I said, Rick was, like knowing now as a coach, his experience and who he was and what he did during that time period, I understand it, and it was what we needed. So we doing conditioning. It's this drill. The funny part is Michael Jordan, I know you see the Jordan thing where you talked about the ladder run where the last person got to get to the front. You keep doing that. We did the exact same thing, but we did it on the track. So we out on the track, and it's the first day of conditioning. So we running. Everybody did it. So you're supposed to run around as a group. 20, 30 minute, nice job. First person come. Man, it got to be Rick turn. And Rick saw who was in back of him, who was supposed to catch him. And it was one of the big guys. And Rick Brunson probably ran around that track as fast as he could. And that whole time, that big guy was trying to get in front of him for a whole hour. So in my mind at first, I'm young, like, this is knucklehead for this. We're supposed to be a team. But then I realized later on, he's like, yo, I got to get these guys in shape.
That's right.
These dudes ain't do what they're supposed to do in the summer. They got to get in shape.
That's right.
So now that leads us up to first practice. We practice at 5. I'm thinking, you hear about 5:30. You know what I mean? You might whisper, practice at 5:30. All right, cool. Man, practice at 5:30. So people don't understand that. Like if I say 5:30 you just thinking 5:30. No, 5:30 to us is 4:30.
Wow. Because
guess what? We got to get there. We
got to get if you're on time, that means you're late.
Right. So 5:30 is the first drill. Not 5:30 we at the practice and we start at 6. So that first hit me like, hold up, it's 4:30. Like I ain't been up at 4:30. That's I was possibly coming in or waking up out of my sleep. It is 4:30 in the morning and we're walking from the dorms down to practice. And we get taped.
And it's not really, it may not be hot out. It starts to get chilly.
Not yet. No. This is the beginning. So it's October 15th. Practice back in the day stopped October 15th. We get there. 5:30, Coach Chaney there, energetic, media there, you know, the media, Coach Chaney, they just, da-da-da. Coach Chaney kicked 2 players out the gym immediately. First day, boom, get out.
What?
I said, what? Exactly.
For
First
what?
day, you get out. Summer classes, whatever happened, get out.
Wow.
First day.
Wow.
They knew it, came back next day, they apologized and whatever else, but that was like, wow. And then, so practice is going, and one thing I always tell people back then, guys who went to college and know college basketball, you know, normally it's drills, conditioning, we're doing this, we're doing this. No. Coach Chaney is a teacher.
Uh-huh.
So the hardest thing about being in practice with him was staying mentally in tune with practice.
Mm-hmm.
Because he will talk to you for 30 minutes and then say, all right, blow the whistle, let's get into this next. And you like, yo, what? Oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, come on. So for him was like, yo, boom, you had to listen. And see, that's one thing about me. Like I said, I knew how to play the game. So that helped me even people realize that, okay, LYNARD knows how to play.
Uh-huh.
And Coach Chaney knew that. Guys always say, you know, Coach Chaney never got on you. You know, I said, yeah, because I knew the game. So he knew I knew the game. I didn't know all the nuances of the game. And so, you know, he was that figure that everybody talked about of being that because it wasn't always just basketball. He talking about life. He telling you, you know, about education. He telling you about the struggles that he went through, or struggles that other people, struggles that young Black men have now to this day with how things are not geared towards you to succeed.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So you got so much of that from him every day, and how he carried himself even in his life. Like, it wasn't even like you got it in practice. We were going road trips, and Coach Chaney had to go speak, and he carried that passion with him about young Black men and being successful, and things being against them, and he trying to break those barriers down and break those walls that are up against us. And you seen that. So you would see that, and then when it came to playing for him, it was like, oh, this is the type man I'm here for.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, it created that. And then all he needed was to bring it out of you basketball-wise. You know what I mean? And one unique thing about me was that, I told you, my mom was at practice 5:30 in the morning.
No doubt.
She used to be there and practice. So a lot of guys don't know. He couldn't get on me that much because my mom was sitting there. How many MFers could I be
in front of your mom's?
My mom was sitting right there, even though she was co-signing everything.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like, I remember, you know, once the season started, you know, I did start. And college basketball at first was like, okay, this is it. Like, I was just using my athleticism, my quickness, and, you know, getting over, you know, some games, it was tough as a freshman. You hit the freshman wall, and you playing. Then that game came against UMass.
Okay.
Mind you, this is post Coach Chaney choking Calipari.
Uh-huh.
This is the next season.
Yes. Wow. Legendary.
This game's now, when you say ABC, I'm not talking about regional ABC back then. When you say ABC game, this is ABC in New York.
Yes.
Philly to California. These games.
Yes.
This ain't no regional game. This is ABC game.
Yep.
We playing UMass. This is you know, this is the first time I experienced this environment because it's a conference game, and so it is media there, the TV there, pregame is there. Everything is just so 10 times more than what it is, and I'm a freshman playing against the number 2 ranked team in the country. They got Camby, they got Lou Rowe, they got Dante Bright, they got Dana Dingle. They got the brothers.
All the names.
Yo,
You figured all the names. Yes.
That's who they got.
Yeah.
And that's who we're about to play. And so I knew Lou Rowe from playing in Harnets, and he was involved with Harnett. So I seen Lou Rowe. And he introduced me to college basketball, this game.
Wow.
A shot went up, and I'm on that weak wing to box out that weak side. And I thought I went up to get this rebound. And
wait, you thought you would have.
I thought I moved to box this man out to go get this rebound. And all I heard was, let me get that young fella. Like, Lou Rowe put that elbow on me. Boom. got that offensive rebound, dunked it, boom. He said, yo, don't even worry about it, little Stu. You know what I mean? Because he knew my older brother too. And I was like, this is college basketball here.
Don't even worry about it, little fella. You know,
He said, don't even worry about it.
You're going to learn some things today.
I got that. And he got it. And it hit me after. I said, yo, I need to get in this weight room. Like, this ain't what, you know what I mean? This speed and quickness is just, you know, it works, but I need it. And so that helped me say, yo, this is college basketball. And we struggled that year, but we still made the tournament. I think we wound up playing them again because that was there. We played them in McGonigal Hall. Rick Brunson had like 30 points. Johnny Miller had about 25 or whatever else. And we wound up beating them. And we had a crazy year. We wound up going to the tournament with like 17 and 16 or 18 and 15 record. But we still wound up making it to the tournament. I made it to the tournament every year I played college basketball. So that was like, wow. So that freshman year, I was introduced like, wow. And I seen how Coach Chaney, you know, changed and how he taught me and coached me from a freshman year to a sophomore year, and my development and what I needed to do as a player myself. Mm-hmm. And that's what was key about Harnett's with the development of local college guys and the back gym and us being disciplined and being taught those type things. But Coach Chaney, man, he was, like I say, for me, I had my father, you know, he was in my life. So I didn't need Coach Chaney for everything that he gave everybody else. You know what I mean? Some people needed him as a father figure. Some people needed him to be that disciplinary and that type person. So for me, I didn't need everything that he was able to give from, you know, as a person. I just needed him to be my coach and a mentor and someone that I can come talk to. And that's what he was. But some of the things in those practices, like I heard Coach Chaney before. I never heard nobody. He said, and you know what's so funny? To this day, I think I take it upon myself as a high school coach to make sure I teach these players everything. Because one time, this thing always sticks with me that Coach Chaney said. He said a lot of things you will hear in your life or book that probably come out. He says one day near the end of practice, I guess one player, no names, struggling in practice or whatever else. So he said, you know what? I'm about to go in the office and call your high school coach. So he was like, what? I'm thinking you're going to call him and say, oh, he said, because he ain't teach you sugar honey iced tea. He ain't teach you. I'm going to cuss him out. I sat there and said, I can't believe this man just said this to this guy. But to this day, I always say to my kids, no matter what level you might go play on, but when you leave here, you're going to know how to set a screen. You ain't going to never be able to say, Coach, my coach didn't teach me that. Yeah, you know how to dribble. You're supposed to know how to make a left-hand layup, right-hand layup, shoot the right way, pass the right way, and that's what you're going to get from me. Because that always hits me. Because it realized that is some true stuff, because it is my job as a high school coach to prepare you for the next level. Yes. No matter if you going to school or not. So all my kids can say, like if somebody can say right now, like, look, hey, Coach Stewart taught me that. I taught this, and I got on you, and I taught you, I showed you how to do this. You know, you everything you got, I realized like, yo, that man was actually right about that, because I think that's what happened. A lot of things that fell now with guys transitioning from high school to college is that they're not taught. And what I got from it, it wasn't just skill stuff. It was everything. Like how to be a coach, how to be a player, how to carry yourself, how to respond to somebody, how to talk to people. You know what I mean? How you operate. You know, Coach Chaney always said that. When the motto back then was winning is an attitude. Didn't understand that as a freshman. Yeah. Didn't understand it. I might not understand it as a sophomore, senior, whatever. Later on in life, I look at it and say, winning is the attitude. You know what I mean? You can be around somebody now and be like, he's a loser. Yes, yes. You know what I mean? Or you can be around somebody and say, you know what? He know how to win. He's a winner. That's right. So it's an attitude, how I carry myself to this day. Like I'm a role model to these kids. You don't see me doing nothing. I ain't, you know what I mean? I'm not on no social media. You don't see me in pictures with out at no bar and me smoking cigarettes, or you got look. No, you don't see that because it's an attitude. It's how you carry yourself, how you present yourself. Because these kids, I don't mean to branch off, but
no, you good.
These kids need more of that today. Because there's so many negative role models or negative things that they're affected by that they see, is that they need that from us as men. So I took from Coach Chaney that winning is an attitude. What is that? That makes me think, what did he mean by that? And absorb everything that he said and try to teach how to carry himself. Like, this is what this is. It's about you being a man, not just a black, because I'm involved with just not African American men, but being a man and carrying yourself a certain way out here in society. And if you carry yourself a certain way, people are going to recognize that. You know what I mean? You know somebody that's a thief. Oh, that dude is a thief.
Yeah,
he's a bum. You know what I mean? Like you immediately can tell somebody's character, how they carry themselves, how they operate. And so that's what I kind of got from him. So when you think about it, as I embellish, Coach Ellaby, being disciplinarian, being there in that manner, and a friend, and then you embellish Coach Chaney with that, how you carry yourself every day, how people perceive you, what you're doing, who you are. That's what I got from them, besides the other men that's been in my life as mentors and role models.
Real quick, before we, just like, what's like a few other things, because I see we kind of maybe got like a half an hour left on this broadcast. I want to make sure we get the Q&A and everything. Real quick, just a few other things, a few highlights regarding your Temple career, and then how did things kind of end.
Oh, highlights. Okay, I always, like you said, I'm humble, so I always kind of skip that.
I ain't gonna let you skip over talking about yourself.
I kind of skip that, because I'm not, that's not who I am. I think
you can just kind of breeze through it. Just some memorable experiences for yourself, big games, or just any.
I'll put a number on it. So I think as a freshman, being recognized as a freshman and being invited to the USA Olympic Festival team, and ironically, you won't believe who was my coach. Coach Calipari was the coach.
Wow.
It was me, Johnny Miller, Ruben Patterson. I got to think of the games. I got a picture around who went. And we was a college team back then. I don't know what they do, how they do it now. We was a team that would have practiced against the Olympic team.
Yes.
And we made that team. I wanted to sprain my ankle. And I would just remember Calipari saying, because you thinking, oh my God, this guy, Coach Chaney, we about to have a problem. Da, da, da. So Coach Calipari was like, look, I know you guys can play. Y'all guys are on my board when we play y'all. So go ahead and do your thing. And that kind of broke the ice with him and us and just made us feel a certain way. So I always remember that. I think one game, it's a lot of games, but I think the one game, actually, it's a picture behind me if you can see it.
Yes, I see that. I was speaking at that behind you the whole time.
Yeah, that game kind of always, I had a great game.
Hey, real quick. Sorry to cut you off. It's some legends in the building, man. I just want to shout them out. First, we got Rashid Brooklyn tuned in. We got Mike Blunt tuned in. We got Lewis Leonard Frankfurt tuned in. I just want to shout them guys out, man. Let them know that I appreciate them tuning in, man. But go ahead.
Yeah, those my guys, man. Those are my guys. I really love them guys. They're doing a lot of great things. That game behind me will always be probably my most memorable Temple game, because I think I told you earlier, but everybody don't know. My dad was one of the ones who helped build the Leah Corson. It was Apollo Temple back then. Yep. He was on that team, that crew, that 401 Ironworkers crew, who laid the framework up from beginning of my junior year up until the time we played that game. And my dad was the one who was there, and the news did a big story on it. And so that game came that night. It was against Fresno State. They had Rayford Alston, and the Tart was the coach from the Fresno. Yeah. They had some NBA guys on their team too. And so that game came, and like, as a basketball player, I know some guys can kind of know this feeling. It's like an out-of-body experience that exists sometimes when you play basketball. And it just was meant for me for the game to go that way for me. Because Rashid Brooklyn on here, but Rashid actually was the one who took the first shot in that gym. He took the first shot and he missed it. And I got the rebound and I put it back in. And it went in. So I scored the first basket in there.
Wow.
A
Wow.
court that I scored the first basket, and then I wound up scoring the next 2 baskets because I wound up getting 2 steals. And so I had a great, it was a great game. It's a great experience for us. I think we wound up blowing them out, but opening up that gym because I don't think too many people get to be the first person you score in the gym because how many times it's built? Like, you know what I mean? Like gyms are not built.
In your lifetime, you know?
In your lifetime, you might not they ain't gonna get another gym. This won't be there.
No.
And then the whole story that just went behind it of, I was a senior, my dad had built it, and like that was one of the recruiting aspects they brought to the table anyway. We're about to have a new gym, you're gonna be the first one to play in it, da 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 da. And I thought it wasn't gonna happen because I'm like, I'm almost done.
Exactly.
And so that experience there was amazing. Like, you want me to talk about some pro stuff too? Because
Well, one of the last things that I wanted you to touch on is just life after Temple, kind of just kind of what your pro experience was like as well.
That was the pro experience was an amazing one. I wound up playing internationally for 10 years, being able to play for that long in Europe is like not even really known nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So my first job came from Pepe Sanchez.
Okay.
Argentina. I played with Pepe at Temple. I forgot the name guys I played with, but Pepe, people down in Argentina was like, yo, we want one of them guys, Temple there. So I wound up going down there. That would have been I might have played there forever, but I went to a team that needed something different, but the coach loved me. Like I said, I knew how to play. He was like, yo, you ain't going nowhere.
Yes.
I need somebody else, but I know a team that needs you.
Yes.
He actually sent me to another team. Like, look, I'm not trying to get no fee or nothing for this, but you need to play in this league.
Yeah.
And so I went to another team, and I wound up staying there, wound up leaving. Then I wound up going to China, which was a great experience for me. Like, these cultural things and these experiences that I was able to have, just made me be who I am today too. So going on professionally, I played in a lot of places, England, Belgium, China, Argentina, Czech Republic, Israel. But when it comes to those experiences, sometimes you do find teams that remind you of your high school team. And that happened to me twice. And it was a team that I played in England with, and we wound up bonding and being so unique. Not because you're bonding with guys from over there, a different country, and we wound up being successful and winning great games. And these friendships to the day, I got a guy named Rob Yanders who's probably one of my best. You got a friend. You don't talk to him all the time, but when y'all get together, it's
you
like
just pick up right where y'all left off.
Yes, he's doing some great things now. I actually seen you on social media with basketball out in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, and we created a bond. And it was so unique. We won a lot of games together. We won a lot of battles together. And it just was amazing. And then that coach that coached me there has actually been coaching in the NBA for a long time.
Okay.
Chris Finch, he coaches with New Orleans now. He's with Houston, New Orleans. Then I wound up going to a team up in Newcastle, England. And that was another great experience that I had. I wound up winning MVP of the league there.
Wow. I
wound up getting put in the Hall of Fame there. I actually went back.
Wow.
In 2015, I retired in 2020. 2015, I flew back over. My dad, two of my best friends, for the induction ceremony.
Wow!
They put me in the Hall of Fame, put it up there. That coach, man. Right? So I played against Nick Nurse, who was the coach of Toronto Raptors, and so that coach that I played for that put me in the Hall of Fame, he actually now is coaching with Nick Nurse because we all was in the same circles and stuff like that.
Wow, man,
so,
that's crazy.
I mean, I want, like, I've never, like you're saying, I don't go around talking about the things that I've done in the career that I had.
Well, that's what I'm for, L. That's what I'm for.
And that's what you're for, right? So you bringing it out of me.
That's right.
That MVP, I can honestly say, that was another award that, besides the Hall of Fame gonna be goddamn special forever. Right, but that MVP of the whole league award was like because I got the word. It was like I knew I had a great year. We won everything. We did great, and I got the word over a phone call. And I was in my apartment by myself, and they called and said, "Yo, you won MVP of the league," and I was like, "Wow!" Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can, like, it hits you. Because you can talk about how you want to talk. Like, winning MVP of an entire league of anything, professional league, or being in the Hall of Fame is like something special.
Yeah.
And that award was like, wow. But then it also hit me like, God, ain't nobody here to experience it with me because, you know, I
Yes,
was
it's
in the
way
country with
over
my family
there.
and
Yeah.
friends. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The Hall of
It
Fame
was
one,
no social media. You
yeah,
know,
it wasn't none of that. None of that. The Hall of
you could have
Fame
went
one was
Instagram
special.
live at the
Right.
ceremony.
None of that. None of that. The Hall of Fame was real special because I was able, my dad, when it was coming up and I decided to go back, because that was the time that I lost my sister that same year. And we was like, and it was like, yo, we need this. My dad was like, I'm going. Two of my best friends like, we going. Like, there's no question behind it. We going. And we made the call and they treated us lovely, brought us out. You know, it was a big ceremony. I think that might be on YouTube.
Like on YouTube somewhere. I'll try to
Yeah.
find it. I'll see if I can
I'll
find
try to find it if I can get a copy. So they did the ceremony, did the video tribute. You know, they did all that. So they showed us love. We was over there for about a week or so. So that was beautiful.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it, man. We're gonna, you know, start the transition out. I just want to let all the viewers know, in a few minutes, once I get done with all my questions, we're gonna have a nice Q&A. Anybody that's tuned in, if you want to know anything about LYNARD Stewart, if you weren't tuned in the first hour, you missed some things, you have any questions for him, some things that I didn't ask, some things that he didn't mention, start typing your questions at the bottom of the screen, or just wait to the Q&A and start typing them, and I'm gonna just let you guys interact with the legend LYNARD Stewart. This entire broadcast, LYNARD, has been so rich with information, you know, jewels, gems, keys, nuggets, life advice, and everything. But if it's some young players watching right now, it's some coaches watching right now, it's some people watching right now. Just if you can throw out some keys to success for some younger players, some kids that are trying to figure it out, and just you know, a message, some keys to success, and just an overall message to some younger players.
Right. So, you know, like my message, I mean, I try to give a lot of my kids messages all the time. One of my biggest messages that I always say to them is that if you want something and you invest in something, you got to put the work into that. You know, and I try to always relate everything to real life situations. If I want a car and I'm trying to save for a car, but I'm not putting money in the bank, putting money away for that car, you know what I mean? Your dreams and goals or whatever, you're never going to reach them. And so if you want something out of basketball, if you want something out of life, you got to invest in those things in the right way. And so for player-wise, you know, you got to invest in your skills and be willing to dedicate yourself. Like even with my kids, summertime we got workouts. Like, yo, they say we can't get here. I said, yo, what's wrong with the bike?
Yes, that's
you know
right.
What I mean? You're not, you know, dedicating yourself and putting the effort in, because that's what a lot of things have been created for youth to take the easy way out. You know what I mean? I don't like this AAU team. I'm gonna go play for them. I don't like this coach. I'm gonna go play for them. You know what I mean? And so I'm old school. Like if a kid comes to me, for example, I want to know who your old coach was. Why are you here?
Yeah.
You know, what are you bringing to the table? Why are you here? Whatever else. But that's what's really crucial these days, that these kids have too many outs. And guys like myself or my age group, you know, I try to get on these guys like, why are y'all letting them have these outs? You know what I mean? Because that you're creating these situations. Because like when you even think about it now, when you look at the transfer portal in NCAA basketball, it's astronomical.
I mean, I know people were transferring in the past, but now it's like a trend.
It's a portal. Like coaches are recruiting from the portal because kids are leaving. Because I've seen no names. A freshman player is getting minutes and playing, but you're what more do you want out of, you know what I mean? And so that's what has been created with these kids, is that I don't gotta fight through it. I don't gotta battle through it, or when it gets tough, or I gotta compete with this person. I'm not trying to do that. I'd rather, I'm gonna go leave here. I want to transfer here. And I think we as a group, we need to, you know, get a hold of that and let them know that you're creating this comfort that these kids really don't exist out there. You know what I mean? Because you going now here's what happens. Here's an example. And I'm not saying kids shouldn't leave this area. You go away to a situation, they don't know you. They don't care about that. You know what I mean? You wind up coming back anyway.
Yep.
But you know, that's the biggest issue for me now out here is these kids is not taught the right way and giving them things. Like when kids come to me in my school, they already know. You know what I mean? This is what you're getting. I don't care. Look, we talk about awards. I already won it. I won everything. This ain't about me. You know what I mean? Like I did this already. Like they're better than me. I have the records. I have that. This is about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to give you what I got because one other message that I always tell the kids when I'm mentoring and I say, guess what? The reason why I care or why I'm here because you are me. You are what I was. I look like you. I'm just an older version of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you are me. So I'm trying to give you what I got or what I didn't get and give you to help you be where you want to be as successfully. And the last thing I was telling them, I said, yo, you know, I'm actually taking my master's now. So I'm learning a lot about sports and other aspects of things I didn't know about. But also to always tell the kids like, yo, you got to use this gift or this talent or this opportunity to get other things in life. You know what I mean? So if you're gifted basketball-wise, you're gifted skill-wise. If you can sing, you can dance. Because if you waste that talent, I mean, if you don't take advantage of it, you're wasting it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say with basketball, like you can't look at, when I say sometimes the parents are exploiting their kids, I say, well, if that kid has a talent, it's the same thing if you see a 7-year-old that can sing.
Yep.
If your daughter as 7-year-olds can sing, guess what you're going to do? You're going to invest in her singing. You can get a piano.
Exactly.
So if your kid is at 7, can shoot about, why not do the same thing? It's the same thing. So I look at that way. So you got to take advantage of the skill you have or blessing that you was given to get what you want in your life. And that's one of the things I did. I was able to take advantage of basketball to get an education and to see the world and stuff like that. So, those little messages right there, I just try to resonate to the kids. The basketball stuff, that's going to come naturally too. Yeah. Being important, all the stuff that I know.
Got you. Well, hey, I appreciate all the gems, man. I'm sure all the viewers, they appreciate everything you're saying now, man. People, it's your time right now. I've already said my thank yous and everything in the beginning. You were tuned in. This is a treat. We got LYNARD Stewart here, man, humble guy. We got a few more minutes. If you have any questions, any specific questions, we're gonna have a nice little quick Q&A before we wrap up. Any questions for LYNARD Stewart, start typing them at the bottom of the screen, and I'll let LYNARD go ahead and ask. So, hey, LYNARD, if you see a question, if you see something, you can go ahead and read it and answer it. I'm gonna scroll and see if I see anything here.
Somebody about both my brothers. No, we never. That's one thing that has always been a wish of mine, of us all playing together. But we would play together, and it was so funny. We never played together on the same team. We would get summer league. I might play with my older brother Larry, or my older with Steven, but we never was always on the same team. Mm-hmm. But it's part of the reason for that because Steven always shot the ball. So
yeah.
And Larry was like, "Yo, we ain't playing with him." You know what I mean? Somebody said, who was the best player I ever played against?
Oh, nice. Good question. Lewis Leonard. Good question.
Lou, that's a good one. And I'm not going to say Rashid, whatever. But college basketball, I'm going to break this down for real fast because college was tough for guys to really exploit themselves because we played a zone. So guys who might have been killers, you might not have seen really killer stuff because we played a zone. But college basketball-wise, we played against Allen Iverson. And that was like a experience because it was like we played his own, but they was just running their man-to-man stuff. Like, it was just like Allen was just like, yo, we just going to do what we do. You know what I mean? So seeing him was like, wow. Like, you know what I mean? It was so fast, so smooth. And but played against literally like one-on-one, 2-on, whatever else, Eddie Jones was the best player I ever played against.
Wow.
When I mean Eddie Jones, this is when he was an all-star with the Lakers. And he made me realize what college was and what pros was. He made me realize that. It was like, yo, you got to be kidding me. Like the shots that he was making, the layups he was making, the little bumps, the little nuances to get his shot off, his hand, like the little things he was doing to exploit me as a defender. And I was like, yo, I cannot. And it was respectful though. It wasn't like, yo, dog, young boy, I'm just, but no, it just was like, this is pro stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, this is pro. And that's you still in college. And that was one of the players that were like, wow, because he was my size, he was like my body type. So that's one player that just was like, yo, if these guys are better than him in the NBA, that NBA is serious.
Exactly.
It's
hey,
serious.
Real quick, something I wanted to reflect on real quick. You said during the whole recruiting process, like you would have loved to have went to Georgetown. Remember you said you was in love with Georgetown, this and that. Do you ever think about that you possibly, if just imagine if you would have chose Georgetown, you would have been able to play, you would have been playing with Allen Iverson?
Yes. I mean, I didn't know Allen before I went, so I didn't know.
I mean, like coincidentally, like if you would have went to Georgetown, y'all would have been playing together, like not knowing each other. It would have just, you know.
we'd have been playing together. I would have loved that experience. I don't even remember getting recruited by Georgetown, if I can recall.
Okay.
Like I might have, but it was Syracuse and Georgetown was my schools, because you know that back in the day you needed a Syracuse hat, the Scully Syracuse hat, and the Georgetown G joint. Come on, the dog. You had
fashion statements, man.
That was fashion. You know, that's how kids today still in the fashion too.
Exactly.
Choose a school over fashion, but yes, those was my schools, like Georgetown and Syracuse.
Couple more questions, then we're gonna I'm gonna end the broadcast smoothly, so we don't gotta be like with the time constraints of getting counted down by Instagram. Favorite Big D's 53 wants to know a favorite country you played in, and why. I think you said Argentina. Is it kind of?
No, it wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
I look at it two ways. Like I look at it as a sports way, a basketball sense, and then a cultural sense. So cultural wise, Spain was like, oh my God, it was beautiful. You know, like to live there, and when they take their siestas, they really do that, and the people were so welcoming, and the country was so beautiful. That experience right there was like, wow, like this is where you want to retire at and live at. And they appreciate their sports. You know, they love soccer and they love basketball. So that whole experience was special to me living in Spain. And then basketball wise, like I said, I played in England. So England, those teams I played with, because, you know, the communication, the language barrier is not there. So being able to talk, to relate, and they did a lot of the same things. Like, oh, we're going over to somebody's crib for a little barbecue. You're like, oh, for real? You know what I mean? So that country, and then the flight always too made a little factor in like a 6-hour flight to get there. So those two countries I think was probably the best two countries.
No doubt. My man Kels wants to know, and these last two, just you can kind of be quick with them because I don't want to get counted down.
I got you. Want to get kicked off? I got you.
My man Kels wants to know a tough game. What was a tough? I think maybe toughest game you played in while you was at Temple.
Oh, at Temple? Well, that's tough. You know how many games we done played at Temple? Jesus Lord.
There's
a
one
lot of games at Temple,
a tough one that sticks out to you that you remember.
The UMass one, I think the Villanova one, when they was ranked number 2 in the country. We played them. That was Villanova's Alvin Williams, Jason Lawson. I think Kerry Kittles was there. And we was coming off, I think we was freshmen. So I think we needed, like we wound up beating Kansas, and then we played Nova, and we needed this game that was down at the Spectrum.
Wow.
And I remember Johnny Miller, who was a teammate of mine, who was probably the most explosive freshman I've ever seen. And I remember him being on the court talking so much junk to Kerry Kittles. He was like, you going to the league? He was killing them. But that game right there I remember because it was like one of the games we needed that helped us get to the NCAA.
Got you.
What was that second question?
One of the last questions, Mil Weezy wants to know, you kind of touched on this already, but I'll ask, just since you put it up there, the biggest lesson you've learned as a coach.
Oh, as a coach, that's a good question. I think never give up on a kid, because, these kids today have a lot of things going on with them and other aspects that go on in their life that we don't know about. And so I think like never giving up on a kid. And I experienced that one wholeheartedly this year where, I got rules and standards and things that we got to live by. And it was a kid, no names again, that, struggled with a lot of things sometimes. And he had anger issues. And I could have easily said, you know what? It's over. You're done. You're off this team. And it's so funny. It looked like he was looking for that from me. And I recognized that, like, that's what you want. You know what I mean? This is your way out of how you've been carrying your life. And so that kid, we didn't give up. And that wasn't just me. When I talk about stuff, it's not just me. It's impossible for me, just me, to do all these things that I'm doing. Like you said, you got Mike Blunt. We got Omar Johnson, who also been there with me. Brandon Millwood, who helped me build that program at Gratz and throughout these years. But today, that kid had one of the most special games I've ever seen in the championship. He's going to college to play football and basketball. And that's one of the lessons that I just learned. Like, yo, do not ever give up on the kid. Now, no, I ain't crazy now either. I ain't crazy, but it takes a lot for me to give up on you. And you're going to know it. You're going to feel it. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest lesson that I learned as a coach.
No doubt. Hey, I appreciate you again, Coach. That's pretty much that, man. That's all the Q&A. That's all the questions that I have. One last thing. I mean, I'm just any last minute things you want to say? Any shout outs? Anything about Raw Sports to kind of what we're doing here, Legends Week? Anything, man?
Well, I mean, I'll say it again, man. What you're doing for people like myself and other guys that's in the community of basketball is just something special. And like I said, people don't know that I recognized this a while ago when I forget, I think you just posted a video. And I was like, man, hey, man, the things that you're doing is something special out here. And I think it's the opportune time for it too. Like, everybody's sitting still, and people like yourself and other guys who are in the media is need to make sure these things get out there. So, because I think at times our history is being forgotten, and so you kind of reminding guys of things that went on, like, or who people are and what they did. They did the things that you're trying to do in your own life. So I just want to say thank you for being who you are and what you're doing. Keep doing it. You got my full support, and whatever you're trying to do, just let me know. I'm here for you, and just keep being special.
Of course, man. Just want to give a shout out to another legend in the building. We got Chester. We got a Chester Clipper. We got Ray Carroll in the building. We got Chester.
Oh my God, Ray Carroll! I know who that is. Hold up. I might have that game with Carroll. Tell her I might have that game, buddy.
No doubt.
I might have that game video if you need that.
No doubt. Hey, I did. Hey, that's one last thing. I see Instagram about to count me down. If you have any old Gratz games, maybe on DVD, something.
Yeah, I got them. I got games of us when we played. I got the championship. I got the Chester game.
Oh,
I got FLC game. Real fast, I know we're about to go out. People don't recognize we played FLC that same year at community college, and that game was off the chain.
Crazy.
Same type game. So I got that game too. So however we can figure out, you can do whatever you want to do.
And I got a burner here at home. I make the copy on DVD. I make the copy, send it right back to you.
We'll get it. We'll figure it out.
I'll text you tomorrow this week, and we'll make that happen. But thank you again for your time, man. God bless you. God willing, I'll be in the building for some Gratz games this year with my cameraman holding it down for you, Coach.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
We need that.
Yes, sir.
All
God
right.
bless you, man. Thank you.
All right, bless y'all.
Yep.
Thanks.